Were you sitting at home wishing you could figure out who the greatest rapper of the 90s was? Well, I'm here to help you figure that out. Welcome back to 10-Minute Brackets. I am your host, Ben Lewis, and you already know the deal. We take one topic, 8 contenders, and we hash out the ultimate champion. We've only got 10 minutes to solve a historical debate, so we're cutting straight to the controversy. Today, we are going to travel back to the most electric era in music, the 1990s. This decade gave us the East Coast-West Coast conflict, the rise of G-Funk, and the birth of lyrical giants. We're pitting 8 undisputed legends against one another to find out the single GOAT of 90s hip-hop. Grab your headphones, the clock starts now. First round matchups are locked in. Let's get these kings on the board. In our first quadrant, the soulful storyteller Tupac Shakur goes head-to-head with the architect of G-Funk and legendary producer Dr. Dre. Next, a heavyweight battle for the East Coast throne. The smooth, masterful king of flow, the Notorious B.I.G, squares off against the business mogul and lyrical slickster Jay-Z. Over on the other side of the bracket, we've got pure LA aggression, the politically charged voice of Compton, Ice Cube, stepping into the ring against West Coast ultimate laid-back icon Snoop Dogg. And finally, our last opening bout is an explosive late 90s clash, the raw, visceral energy of my dog DMX as he takes on the controversial, technically brilliant wordsmith Eminem. Tupac versus Dre, Biggie versus Jay-Z, Cube versus Snoop, DMX versus Eminem. This is the definitive 90s argument, and we're settling it in 10 minutes flat. Whose catalog is deeper? Whose flow is tighter? We're about to figure this out in round 1.
Round 1.
Our first matchup in round 1 is Tupac versus Dre. A couple of West Coast legends. Let's look at each of their, in this first round, let's look at each top 3 songs. Okay, so for Tupac, song 1 is going to be California Love. Song 2, Dear Mama, from 95, both from 95. And song 3, Changes, from 1998. Okay, I could take pretty much all the songs off of All Eyes on Me, all the songs off of Me Against the World, and be happy with that completely. He's going up against Dre. This is a tough one. So you've got Nothing But a G Thing, obviously legendary. Dre Day on 93, and then Keep Their Heads Ringing in 95 is considered technically his third most popular song. Now, given the fact that Dre is in California Love and produced California Love, you may think that I'm leaning that way if you don't know me. If you do know me, you know that it's going to be a tough sell to convince me that Dr. Dre or anybody else is a more legendary rapper than Tupac. So in this first round matchup, Tupac takes the spot. Now we're going to our East Coast battle where we have the Notorious B.I.G. versus Jay-Z. Biggie's top 3 songs are Juicy from 94, Big Papa from 94, and Hypnotize from 97. I don't know if it gets stronger than those 3, and I don't even know if everybody would agree that's the top 3, but for me and my money, I mean, Juicy is getting played all day, every day. It's going up against Jay-Z. Jay-Z's number 1 song was Hard Knock Life. That was from 98. Dead Presidents 2 in 96, and Can I Live 96. I mean, I would also put up here like Dirt Off My Shoulder. I'd put up several songs from the Black Album. I feel like, in my opinion, Jay-Z is more of a self-proclaimed legend than Notorious B.I.G. And I do get it that Biggie passed away before Jay-Z, so we didn't get to see him, on social media. Same thing with Tupac. because sometimes social media and being in front of the cameras all the time and the more accessibility we have can tarnish a legacy. And I do feel like that's happened to Jay-Z, and I feel like DMX was another victim of that. So we can only use the information that we have. And if you think that any three songs are going to beat Biggie's Juicy, Big Papa, and Hypnotize, you are incorrect. So our winner for round one in this matchup, moving on to the next round, is Biggie. All right, another West Coast battle. Ice Cube versus Snoop Dogg. Ice Cube's top three songs: It Was a Good Day, 92. Check Yourself, 92. And You Know How We Do It in 94. You know how we do it. Those are tough. But in my opinion, those are like his three best songs, right? Like mainstream. Now, if you want to get deep cuts and you want to get to the stuff whenever he was like, you know, battling with Easy and stuff like that, then I mean, that's a different level. That's more of an 80s type rap, early 90s, way early 90s. But that's a good three songs. He's going up against Snoop, though, with Gin and Juice, What's My Name, and Murder Was the Case. Murder was the case that they gave me. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. Okay, let's look at them one by one. It Was a Good Day versus Gin and Juice. I'm going to have to give that one to It Was a Good Day. Check Yourself versus What's My Name. I'm going to have to give that one to What's My Name. You Know How We Do It versus Murder Was the Case. Everybody, I'm have to go with Murder Was the Case. Who remembers that on MTV whenever Snoop raises up out of the coffin and starts rapping? So in this round, Snoop versus Ice Cube, the West Coast winner is Snoop Dogg. And now our final matchup, we've got Get At Me Dog, DMX versus, one of the greatest lyricists of all time, Eminem. So Eminem's top three songs: My Name Is in 99, Just Don't Give a What in 99, and Guilty Conscience in 99. Yes, he was on the tail end of the 90s, but he made his way in here. One album from Eminem, actually it was two albums from DMX in the 90s, because he dropped back-to-back, 98, 99. So, they were on the tail end of it, but very influential in the 90s. And remember, this is 90s catalog. So we're not taking 80s songs. We're not taking anything from 2000. Let me preface this before I pick this winner, and y'all want to talk to somebody. So DMX's top three songs: Rough Riders Anthem. Dun, 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 dun. Come on now. Get At Me Dog and Party Up. Y'all going to make me lose my mind up in here. I'm sorry. Somebody's going to be furious about this. In this round, if we're putting up Rough Riders Anthem against My Name Is, you can give that to My Name Is. Get At Me Dog's taking Just Don't Give a. And Party Up in Here is an all-time anthem. Moving on to round two is DMX over Eminem.
Round 2.
All right, now it's time for round two. We've got Tupac versus Snoop Dogg. This is tough. We're talking one of the all-time iconic legends, murdered way too early in his prime. Still had multiple albums come out after his death, but we're talking about the 90s, everybody. And then you have Snoop Dogg, who just burst on the scene with Bow Wow Wow, Yippee Yo, Yippee Yay. That's tough to compete with. All Eyes on Me, double cassette. Never made it out of my 88 Beretta. Snoop Dogg's initial album, people were taking it in 94 whenever I was a freshman in high school, dubbing it onto another cassette, push the little boom boxes up against each other and do that. This is a tough call, but this is my call. So this second round competition matchup goes to Tupac, moving on to the championship round. Now we've got Biggie versus DMX. Look, y'all, I love Biggie. I love Juicy. I love Big Papa. I love Hypnotize. And his double album, Life After Death, one of the best of all time. Now, how would he have dealt with his association with Sean P. Diddy Combs nowadays? I don't know. That's something that we would have to see, but we don't have to know that because this is the 90s, and we're not using that to judge against him, even though it creeps in there a little bit now. It creeps in there a little bit. Kind of makes you go, huh. Now, DMX had his own things that he was dealing with, his own bouts with the law and substance and whatnot, and he was a victim of social media and being out there too much. But if we're going off straight 90s, And if we're going off what I want to put in my cassette player, if we're going off what I want to put in my CD player, my 5-disc changer, if we're going off what I'm making a list out of on Spotify, then my people were going with DMX over the Notorious B.I.G.
Championship round.
And now we move to the championship round. Some of y'all think this is a waste of time at this point. No Biggie, no Eminem, no Jay-Z. I don't know how many of y'all would have picked Ice Cube or Dr. Dre to make it to the championship round. Moguls, yes. Rap, if we're going like top rappers, top songs of the 90s, I still think this is legit. But we're going Pac versus DMX. And yeah, this is my podcast, guys. So if you know me, if we've ever talked, this should be no surprise that it's Pac versus DMX. When Tupac got shot, I was 16 years old, and I had people calling me at my friend's house and paging me saying, "Oh my gosh, Ben, can you believe it?" When DMX died, as a grown man, I have people all in my DMs saying, "Ben, I can't believe X died. Sorry, man." This is how much I liked both of these rappers. They were my favorites of all time. So I'm picking basically against child, my early 90s favorite versus my late 90s favorite. We're going It's Dark and Hell is Hot versus All Eyes on Me. And I don't want to go chalk all the way. And I love DMX. You can get at me, dog. But in this championship round, the greatest of all time is going to my guy, Tupac. All right, I hope you were surprised a little bit. I hope you enjoyed that. I know some of you are hating this list. You don't like who I chose. And you know what? I get it. But guess what? That's too bad. That's something you're going to have to deal with internally because this is my show and I picked the winner. Tupac is the greatest of all time. And the vice president of greatest of all time is DMX. That's right. Running mates all day. We have the same haircut. Who else would I pick? I won't deny you. I'm a straight rider.